got nothing to fear from this hearing. Leaders of
My stummy hurts. My stummy hurts. Oh? What's going on? Constituents and Chris himself. Oh, yeah, I can actually watch today. Nice, lucky you. Oh, the people you debate sound like the brain has short circuited. The guy did not like the reference to I've never met a nice South African. I've never met a nice South African. Do you think that that's copyrighted? I don't know if I can play that. I would like to. Hi chat, it is Chris. Yes. Is it copyrighted? Comrade Chris, do you need to poo? Don't say that. That's an awful word. That's an awful set of words. Well, you must be disappointed that Trump isn't Mecca. Am I though? Because I got pretty satisfied yesterday. By the way, I don't know why it's hurting. It's no real reason, I think. He says as he pops some nicotine. Oh, please stop saying horrible things in chat. Vulgar. But it was recorded in the UK. The thing was recorded in the UK. The song. Yeah, the vulgarity indeed. Childish. No, it might just be stress or something, but I doubt it is, because I'm not actually very stressed. Right, let's start off with some British stuff, because no one cares about the UK. So actually, there was a pretty significant thing, which, I mean, I don't know how many of you watch my TikTok content, but like, Lush, which is a brand that you're all probably aware of, is just closed in solidarity with Gaza today. Like, this is just what it is. Yeah, I'm only just getting started, Irene. But yeah, stop starving Gaza. This is just what Lush have posted. Kind of crazy. And I posted about this on Twitter, and shortly after they did start posting about it. But look, these were all of these reports only came out like 3 hours ago. Like, Middle East Eye has a small team, so I'll always give the excuse to Middle East Eye of like, yeah, that's why they didn't report. But look, the National Scot reported this 7 hours ago, and I've never been in a Lush store. I've seen them. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to delete your message. Wait, have I? Sorry, I accidentally just did that. I didn't mean to. I meant to pin your message. I know, but you try doing it. The two are like right next to each other. It just says, and also it's different when you have like I don't know actually. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, all of them started to report on it. Beauty chain Lush has shut its UK shops, website and factories in protest at the Israeli government, preventing urgent humanitarian assistance from entering Gaza. They do soap and stuff like that, yeah. Yeah, I am the worst mod. In a statement, the firm said more action was also needed by the British government to bring an immediate stop to death and destruction, including an end to UK arms sales from the UK, but it means the same thing. It said it had decided to close stores for the Wednesday and place posters in the windows with the message "Stop starving Gaza. We are closed in solidarity." That is actually crazy that they did that. We share the anguish of the millions of people feel seeing the images of starving people in Gaza, Palestine, the chain said in a statement. Like the rest of the world, we struggle to find ways we can help whilst the Israeli government is preventing urgent humanitarian aid. Send our love and a strong message. And like, I got a few comments. In fact, let's go through TikTok comments, because whilst Hassan watches my TikToks, he can't be doing this shit. Every single Lush shop in the UK is shut today in Lush did more for Palestine than all Muslim leaders put together. I don't think they're wrong about that. It is significant, but Lush treat their workers appallingly. This person described a personal experience of it being like a bad thing. Love to Lush. Cardiff here. Oh, they posted the photos of them. I will be purchasing from Lush whenever possible. And I do agree. Someone sent me a long message about Gymshark and why Gymshark isn't a good brand. But in my understanding, Gymshark also divested from Israel. Like, I'm not actually... Oh, no, Gymshark... No, My Protein. That's who divested from Israel. My Protein divested from Israel last year, so gotta start wearing my Protein shit. I won't be buying any more Gymshark. And someone probably just noticed, they're like, you're always wearing Gymshark. I just have so many Gymshark tees. I unmodded Lemise, did I? Where's Lemise? I didn't mean to. Whoops. Okay, girlies from getting their bath bombs. Yeah, it is really anti-Semitic to the big fans of the big fans of it. But sorry, that's what I was confused about. My Protein divested from Israel. This is not an act of virtue signaling. I am taking a stand, and I am in the last stage discussion with a consortium of other family officers to follow suit, which they are very keen to do. Oh, this guy's no longer the owner of My Protein. But he was once the founder of My Protein. Is he even jacked? He doesn't even look jacked. He just tweets about how he shouldn't have sold My Protein. You enjoyed the recent vid. It didn't perform as well, but I think that part of it's the day I uploaded it, and also, yeah. But then again, it's also like, it's not about Sophie, thank you. Melina, or Elsa Lipsis, Marcus Ryan, Sophie Tsot, thank you so much. Shout out for all the new members. Members. But I did also see time to shop some Lush again. Must stop by Lush soon. Before everyone jumps on support Lush, Lush uses fair trade olive oil from Israel and an Israeli family. They believe by sourcing from both Israel and Palestinian farmers and organizations Lush aims to create... Really? Is this true? Halima said this. I mean, obviously in the video I didn't say that they were like major, but I do feel like... Sorry, I just showed you my liked videos. You can see my saved because that's different. Someone just... Go buy yourself something nice. This guy's video looked good, actually. I like that one. And I didn't mean to shoot that. Let's save this. Oh, guys, this video is amazing. This video is fucking amazing.
Say, oh, do you support Palestine, Ukraine, whatever? How can we, on the world stage, go out and tell other countries what to do when we don't even know what a man and a woman is? This
isn't actually the one I was looking for, but like, it's unbelievable, this one. And also, I love how he's like Gaza and Ukraine, and it's like, buddy, I think we might be telling some other countries what they should and shouldn't be doing and doing worse things in those ones. What's his name? There's a better long-form interview with him.
I am delighted to be elected.
Right, I'll find it because it's so funny.
But a lot of people ask, you know, what is it like being leader of a council? I don't care about my age. Would people be questioning?
There's a video where he comes across just like David
A lot
Brent.
of people ask, you know, what is it like being leader of a council? Pressure. But I can balls. There's a royal. They're not. I'm very, very confident we can work to stopping these illegal.
I'm not going to be able to find it now.
How can we? People say, oh.
Oh, it's not the one I was looking for. It was amazing. He just came across like such an idiot, but unsurprising. Oh, he seems like David Brent, like genuinely. It's not even the one I was looking for. Maybe it's in my liked. No, it's not there.
In World
This video is actually good. Let's watch it.
War II, the Allied countries had a 16 to 30% civilian casualty rate. The Axis powers had a 65% civilian casualty rate. The Guardian is reporting right now that in Gaza, according to the IDF's own internal estimates, they have a civilian casualty rate of over 80%. And I need you to understand that this is so much worse.
By the way, also, this argument here, you know when they firebombed Dresden? Wasn't Dresden like Dresden was a place that was like key for industrial production, right? Like that's why it was a major rail transport and communication center housing 110,000 and 50,000 workers supporting the German war effort. Now look, some of the things that were done there, like firebombing and like the things that happened to people, it sounds horrific. Genuinely does sound horrific, like what actually happened there. You know, defeating the Nazis is a different thing, but like the Allies could have made the argument, well, they were using them as human shields. And it doesn't justify just killing huge amounts of like civilians, you know?
Worse than just 15 to 20% more.
But even then, like the amount of civilians killed in Dresden was what? Up to 25,000 people is the estimate with some of them.
Civilian casualties than the bad guys in World War II. The Allies, who wiped out 2 cities with nuclear bombs.
But it's also choosing one example as well of Dresden in comparison to everything else.
Even at the high end, if they had a 30% casualty rate, that means that for every 7 combatants that they killed 3 citizens. Or for every 2 combatants, almost half of a citizen. The Axis...
He should have pulled up the Syrian civil war as well. The Syrian civil war is a much better example of this.
Powers, the ones that created the camps, at a 65% casualty rate. That means that for every 3.5 combatants they killed, 6.5 civilians got killed. Or 2 civilians to 1 combatant. In Gaza, if we factor an 80% casualty rate, for every 2 combatants that Israel kills, they kill 8 citizens. That means that they are shooting through 4 citizens to get 1 combatant. A 15% civilian casualty rate difference at that end of the spectrum works out to double the amount of civilians that get killed. That means in World War II, if the Axis powers had an 80% civilian casualty rate, instead of 35 to 40 million civilians being killed by just their side alone, that number would be 80 million. There is no internationally defined acceptable casualty rate for a conflict because it's based off of military trade-offs. There is no threshold that's recognized where you have now crossed into a G-side because G-side is definitionally based off of intent. But if these numbers are correct, which again...
It's also, well, yeah, I guess it's just based off intent.
The Guardian is reporting that these are based off of internal IDF database numbers. This would be the highest civilian casualty rate of any modern conflict that was not recognized as G-side. Israel has said if a single member of Hamas hides behind 4 civilians, we'll take that shot. The bad guys in World War
Even look at when they killed Mohammed Diaf, by the way. Because, like, Israel will say, Mohammed Diaf was the mastermind of October the 7th, and killing him did so much. Killing Mohammed Diaf did nothing. Like, Mohammed Diaf died a year and 2 months ago. Israel hasn't succeeded in defeating Hamas. It hasn't succeeded in bringing the hostages back. Someone has replaced him. Who is it, actually, who replaced him? What's his name? Succeeded by Mohammed Sinwar. Oh, there's someone who's replaced him. It's like the leader of the Jabalia battalion or something. But Israel's argument is that oh, we needed to kill him to win the war. No, they didn't. But look at how many people they killed. So, assassination attempts. They killed his entire family. They killed his entire family, his wife and children. They didn't get him, so you could include that. They failed to kill him in this one. I don't know how many civilians were killed. In this one, his house was hit by an Israeli airstrike, killing his brother, nephew, and niece, children, and his brother. Or maybe not children, they might have been older, I don't actually know. But also, 90 Palestinians were killed and 300 injured. I'm sorry, bro. Doesn't matter who you are. You would not support, like, a mass bombing of Israel. In fact, like, what would even be the point of, like, supporting a bombing in Israel that killed 90 Israeli civilians, including children, and wounded hundreds more, like, changing their lives irreparably, to kill Yoav Gallant or any fucking Israeli defense minister ever? Yeah, donating is never required. Just like and watch. That's all I ask. And watch my videos. I mean, I don't know what the survival rate of prisoners of war was, but like the amount of people that Israel has killed, like chasing Mohammed Diaf, is just another example of that. Like, oh, you know, and what does it achieve? And they'll tell you, like, Israel and its propagandists will be like, this is a bad day for Hamas. But Hamas is still fighting. Hamas repelled Gideon's chariots, you know.
War II said they'd only shoot through 2. In World War...
But, you told me I have to pay to see your videos. Yeah, you have to pay me £1 million to see any video. Where's Thomas? I don't even see Thomas. I have a new puppy and it won't stop biting me. Unfortunate. Terrible times. Oh, wait, there was actually... So you're all laughing and you were going yesterday, Trump's not going to emerge as bionic. Listen to this. Earlier people rarely lived to 70. These days, at 70 years old, you are still a child. Yes, indeed. If you have extra money, you can donate to the links, Mosen's link at the top of the thing. With the development of biotechnology, human organs can be continuously transplanted and people can live younger and younger and can even achieve immortality. Bro, Putin is genuinely mentally deranged, isn't he? Like, I know people might say, well, invading Ukraine. Someone did tell me that during the old scamdemic, that Putin may have gone a little bit insane and that Putin may have started to believe that he was like a Russian warlord from history. Or a new Tsar. But you told me that bionic humans weren't coming. Then what happens the next day? This is why you guys shouldn't talk about politics and you should leave that business to me. Bro, this is what China's working on, whilst America's just making up fucking terrorist organizations like Tren de Aragua. Well, not making them up, but it's pretty... But yeah, we've kind of gone quite far back from the Lush thing now.
Hate to break it to you guys, but Lush doesn't support Palestine. I've been doing a little research of my own because a lot of the brands that
Here's
people
an
are
old
saying
video.
support Palestine actually don't. So this is what I found. A lot of you would have seen this post or picture circling the internet. This is the Lush store in Dublin. As you can see in the window,
Privateer sinks a boat claiming it's a drug runner's boat. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. But also because today I did quite a bit more stream prep. And I did a lot of research on... Tren de Aragua. And Tren de Aragua really interests me, bro. And like what I learned. I'm learning.
they put boycott Israel. This was obviously the actions of the store alone. Lush themselves came out with the company
I don't think they'll ever be able to make you immortal. I don't think that it's plausible. But I do think that the stuff that they're maybe talking about there is not as far away as you believe. Like being able to give humans organs that are able to just continually be replaced when one starts failing. But I think ultimately your brain will just eventually fail. And yeah, like in the case of what they're saying here, like maybe, but like Trump, and I know Teal says it, but like Teal said, have you heard Teal's arguments against being trans? Peter Teal doesn't like trans people because he thinks that they don't go far enough and that they should engage in transhumanism.
Statement on the 12th of October. They said that this message was an isolated occurrence and does not represent the Lush ethos. They deplore all acts of Palestinian people. We support the upholding of international law and the human rights of all peoples. So they've decided to take Palestine as your sign to conduct your...
I mean, yeah, that was a while ago. This person is the video I was
Something
looking for.
smells funny at Lush, and I don't mean their Minecraft soap. I mean, seriously, that does not look like soap. No, it's not the crazy soap. It's the way they're allegedly treating their factory workers. Their workers allege that Lush is an exploitative, unethical company hiding behind their ethical branding. Yes, the soap is not tested on animals, but the handmade production occurs in factories where workers frequently allege that they're experiencing difficulty breathing and physical injuries. Workers have alleged they're not always being provided with an appropriate mask to filter out the fine particles from the soap. Workers also allege that there are products that have quotas of 600 units per person per day.
Oh, there's an organ donors arms race. The lack of health secretary, RFK Jr., aka Brendan from Mothman's new nominee, wants that too. What, as in, like, them making, like, bionic organs and stuff?
In these instances, that means over 500 kilos being lifted by workers in a day, resulting in back, shoulder...
Bro, I don't want to worry you guys, but I've heard they're going to inject Trump with the Green Goblin syndrome, and the next Trump press conference, he's going to be flying around on a glider. I have heard it. Oh, shit. I had to change the title because I wanted to add the annex the West Bank.
And wrist injuries. These unrealistic quotas also allegedly affect retail staff, who face huge pressure to meet sales targets and upsell products. Also, workers allege having to wash and massage managers' hands as part of their job interview. On top of all of that, workers allege that there is micromanagement going on in the workplace, which means that staff are under immense stress and are not able to perform tasks to the best of their ability. Now, honestly, from this particular brand, I think many folks out there will have expected better. Staff should not be experiencing this.
I do think that what he's saying is 100% true. But I saw one that I was kind of like, oh, accused of eating. Lush is peak lib veganism. Donate to your fave YouTube streamer and Mosin instead of buying the soap. Yeah, I mean, I said that in the video. I was like, I don't think Lush is a perfect company. But what I will say here is this is 100%. This is 100% true. that this is a good act. That this is a good act. And like the stream, indeed. And Christopher, I'm going to get whacked by Tony Sopranos. What's hanging, my guys? And I also love the Orange Goblin comment, sorry. But, oh yeah. I like everything that they do. Like, I do have to say that this is good. Like, I genuinely think that this is a good and an awesome act to undertake. Like, genuinely, like, a really significant act. But what I did want to talk about is UK retailers accused of recruiting young shop workers without rights over Christmas. So Lush and Gymshark have both been accused of it by using apps promoted by TikTok influencers to take on gig economy assistants lacking basic protection, say unions. This is literally just how the hospitality industry operates. This is bad. Like, this is bad. But this is how the hospitality industry just operates. Like, it's so ridiculous. I'll see if I can actually find my old video. I can show it to you if you want. Actually, I probably shouldn't show it because I make a somewhat false claim saying that I was fired. And technically, I was not fired. I was just told that I would be speaking to them and that I wouldn't be, coming back. We have a Discord server. Normally, to join link right now, we have a pinned. Hi, Chris. Hello, Ray. Hello, everyone. Should I create a Discord server? We have like a Discord server. We've got one already, but yeah, I just saw your comment, but yeah, we have one. If you want to join it, you're more than welcome to. No politic here though in the Discord server though. That's all I'm saying. New beans of fire coffee that's owned by Bukele being caught in Panama with tons of. No, I didn't hear about that. What beans of fire coffee company? Wait, what? But just on this topic, I think that this is a situation that we live in. They're recruiting people on. They're recruiting people and exploiting them. I haven't seen this story, and nor can I find it anywhere actually thus far. If you talk politics, you will be gulagged. If I ever catch DXR's first there straight away. That is exactly what is going to happen to that poor boy. Right, I'm just looking for some things. Oh, there was actually something I wanted to watch. Oh, Nigel Farage is in the fucking...
Leaders of the world have got nothing to... The dictators of the world have got nothing to fear from this hearing. The Republicans called it to attack our democratic allies in Europe. The star witness is not a human rights leader like Navalny, but a far-right pro-Putin politician who leads the UK Reform Party, a party that has 4 members out of 650 members in the parliament. He calls England an authoritarian regime, while saying that Vladimir Putin is the world leader he admires the most.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked this up. So Nigel Farage is in the US to talk about freedom of speech and say like, oh, the UK's not free, like all of this stuff. So Nigel Farage is like this this far-right politician in the UK who smokes cigarettes and is like associated with racists. But one of the deputy party leader was like, hold on, I'll actually show you this. I mentioned this in my video. Richard Tice, UAE. So the deputy leader of his party, you know, this anti-Muslim party, spends most of his time with his wife, his wife who is a Zionist influencer on TikTok, on Twitter, in the UAE.
A lot of people move to Dubai, go there, because they don't...
Up the Ran, Nigel! Really? DXR, that's it.
Britain, including your partner. Yeah, and Isabel Oakeshott wrote a column in which she said, unlike angry, divided Britain, she said, Dubai is the ultimate multicultural success story. Those who break the law or can't look after themselves are simply imprisoned or deported.
God, imagine just highlighting the UAE and saying people who can't look after themselves are deported or are imprisoned and just going, yeah, I like that. Like, it's crazy. The things that these people say are unbelievable. Like, that's his wife. And this is what these people want for you. And I kind of mentioned it in my video. And this isn't to say that it's okay when it's happening in the Middle East. It's not. It's not okay. But this is what these people want from the world. I used to work at the Lush factory. I made bath bombs. Was it okay in Toronto? More Canadians. I'm telling you, the Canadian people love me.
So they don't. I mean, is that...
There are a lot of funny comments on my video. There was one that I literally had a video addressing, and I was like, I didn't add it in because I was like, I want to leave it as is. One of the things I wanted to talk about is there are lots of people who go, democracy is an alien concept to the Middle East. I didn't want to debate really whether democracy is an alien concept to the Middle East. When you actually look at it, there are a lot of scholars who talk about how in the Sunni Muslim tradition, because of the way that the Prophet's successor was chosen, that democracy is actually something that you can find. And these are Islamic scholars, by the way. These aren't even Western scholars. And when people say, like, oh, Islam's resistant to democratization, actually, when it came to it, the person who was much more resistant was the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church actually had the power to resist it. Islam doesn't have a centralized organization.
Better society, a place that simply imprisons or deports people who break the law.
Well, I tell you what. What is a better society is if you're at a coffee shop, and you, as a lady, you leave your handbag and your phone on the table. You go to the loo, then you come back a few minutes later. Guess what? Your handbag's still there, your phone's still there. And that is the sort of society we should aspire to. Where
we can learn from Dubai.
I think we should.
I'm sorry, like, when people cite this about an authoritarian police state, like, when they cite, like, an authoritarian police state. Also, by the way, I was reading about, I don't have the book up here. I was reading more about Mossadegh. You know, Mossadegh's thesis on what he wanted to write was actually, like, people think he's, like, this really secular guy. But what Mossadegh actually was someone who believed in, like, incorporating Western jurisprudence to Islamic values, but saying that you shouldn't just import it over wholesale and, like, force it on people, which makes so much more sense. And that's why, like, whatever you think of the Muslim Brotherhood are people who are, you know, they are people who have been involved with democracy, and dismissing them and saying they're a terrorist organization is literally just propaganda from people who support a brutal dictatorship. Islam had 4 caliphs, and after that, sectarianism fractured the movements and empires, but the succeeding caliphs was usually chosen by vote of the leaders. I didn't even know that, but that's interesting.
This is a problem we've got. As a nation, as a political class, we're not prepared to learn enough from other nations that are getting it right.
She points out another thing, that in school...
Learning from a country that tortured our own citizen. Learning from a country that arbitrarily tortured one of our citizens. Like... And by the way, this poor guy, Matthew Hedges, I've actually met Matthew Hedges. Matthew Hedges was Exeter. He splits his time between Durham and Exeter doing a PhD. They wanted the arrest of Interpol president. Filed a complaint against Ahmed Nasser al-Raisi, who's a key ranking, also a high ranking official. The Human Condition, thank you for becoming a member. Shout out. And Thomas, thank you for the donation. Class warfare, you heard it here. Class warfare is not equal to civil guns. The West doesn't want self-determination or a horizontal... No, not at all. And that's the truth. That's what I meant about, like, Mossadegh. Mossadegh wasn't allowed to have power because he was someone who might have chosen for himself and upset the balance of power in the West. But, like... in the Middle East, that would have affected the West because we loved oil so much. Like, the British Navy was entirely reliant on it. But, like, Matthew Hedges was, like, tortured in the UAE and still, like, suffers from PTSD from it. And here's just this guy who's like, yeah, we should actually learn from that. Just, like, a country that tortures our own citizens for, like, doing some research.
Well, every morning she says, your partner, they also stand
I think to buy a membership you need to be online, but it's no like on desktop. Sorry.
for the national anthem. This is how countries with clear identity, the national school every morning, she says, your partner, they also stand for the national anthem.
What even is like the Dubai or the UAE national anthem? I end up saying Dubai when I want to describe the UAE because like I know Abu Dhabi is the seat of power. I know that that's the main emirate, but Dubai is like the one that people know. I guess people do go to Abu Dhabi as well. But can I move myself in chat? Yeah, I can move chat. Sorry. Myself. Yeah, I'll move myself down here.
This is how countries with clear identities work.
Makes it.
It's also really funny because these people are like, oh, Western societies have no clear identity. Bro, what the fuck do you mean? Like, Canada, you have to sing the national anthem. I know this.
It educates our children about being proud of the country that you are living in.
For former empowered, do you think all children should stand up for the national anthem each
I think
day?
that's a matter for debate, but you've got to be prepared to discuss this because we want our children to be proud of our country, to be proud of our flag.
The funny thing is like, how British teaching works in schools is literally to fucking do that. That like that is literally how British schools operate. They operate on the basis of teaching you British history, to teach you nationalism and how to be a good citizen. Like, this is literally what they are doing. Like, I'm sorry. And yet these people act like, oh, British schools teach you to hate the country. Why might we not learn about Ireland? Why might we not learn that we starved them, genocided them, and, you know, the country's still scarred by it? And why are these people trying to tell you that, like, we should be loving the UAE? Like, we will have fundraisers.
You're listening to Byline Times.
Oh, I was wondering what the hell that was. But Byline Times is talking about it here. Nick Candy, we are going to have fundraisers all over the world. So they're just talking about how the UAE, it's okay to get funds off an authoritarian dictatorship. This is cool. Probably because of the Dubai matcha, La Boo Boo.
Well, this hearing
I have the world's first ever genocidal UAE Labubu.
mimics Vice President J.D. Vance, who went to the Munich Security Conference in February. In the first 2 minutes of his speech, whitewashed the world's leading autocratic regimes, proclaiming that the threat that worries him.
Also, shut up. Like, Biden was moving closer to the UAE. All these people whitewash it.
Is not Russia. It's not China, he said, but rather it's our European allies. Amazing. Republicans are promoting far-right parties in Europe, like Alternative for Deutschland, Reform UK, and Rassemblement
Alternative for Deutschland.
National Français.
I like how he says the French one ensures that he says, this is proof that the US is still a colony of goddamn France. Because he's saying the French pronunciation correctly, but not the German pronunciation.
And ignoring massive repression in Russia, China, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and among all the autocrats of the world. Republicans are vilifying European liberal democracies simply for engaging in the kind of line-drawing exercises that we Americans engage in under our First Amendment with respect to the epidemic of child pornography, protecting children from other harmful content, defamatory speech, online scams and false advertising, and speech inciting riots and imminent lawless action. All forms of speech that the First Amendment does not protect and whose tricky contours must still be drawn by law. We could have a meaningful hearing on this complicated subject, but this hearing is just a drive-by hit against a strong Democratic ally to benefit.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious what it is. Oh, God. Right, the new, by the way, I got an update on the new PC. Should be happening now. The wheels are in motion. So, hopefully the thing is, hopefully the PC is happening very soon.
Free speech, but they only himself as some kind of a free speech martyr, protectors of free speech.
This actually seems like a better clip.
But they only want to protect speech they agree with. In the UK, Mr. Farage is openly promoting the abolition of the Human Rights Act of 1998 to be replaced with a British Bill of Rights that limits the right of free speech to British citizens and legally sanctioned residents. He complains that racist threats against immigrants are not protected free speech while he...
Yeah, you do know that the woman that they all hold up as this free speech martyr is someone who even in America should have been arrested. Like, her name's Lucy Connolly, and she said that you should burn the mosques, which in America wouldn't even be protected as free speech because people were actively trying to burn mosques at that time.
Proposes to strip migrants.
Wait, did he say our enemy is China, not Europe? I didn't even hear that.
Tourists and perhaps even visiting American congresspeople of any free speech rights at all. I had my own close encounter with that when Mr. Farage and his team presented for more than an hour in a conversation we had about free speech. And after 3 minutes of talking, he cut me off and terminated the meeting because he didn't like what I was saying. That's the kind of free speech he's committed to. There is a free speech crisis in America today, but there's no free speech crisis in Britain. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has not...
There is actually a free speech crisis in Britain. There is 100% a free speech crisis in Britain, but it relates to Palestine and support for the Palestinian cause. And Nigel Farage is not someone who believes in the right to talk about Palestine.
Shut down GB News, where Mr. Farage has his own show, just because Mr. Farage has used his airtime to call for banning peaceful protests that he disagrees with. No one has stopped him from going on Russian TV 17 times and saying also and repeating that the one world political leader he most admired was Vladimir Putin, even though Vladimir Putin...
Now it's back to Nigel Farage.
Let's see what this guy had to say about it.
I'm joined in the studio by Lloyd Rossomore, former MP for Brighton and Hove, and Kwasi.
When it doesn't matter whether Farage or Starmer is driving the train. Yep, 100%. And that's what I say to all these people who are like, we can't let Farage in. Bro, if the option is Keir Starmer, it does not matter. Keir Starmer is the most right-wing, not just the most right-wing Prime Minister in the UK's history. He is the most right-wing Prime Minister in Labour history. He is just the most right-wing Prime Minister that the UK has ever had. Like, genuinely, just because of the situation that we're in at this point. Like, the things he talks about, the things he does, incredibly right-wing. And that cannot just be accepted.
Kwarteng, former Chancellor of the Exchequer, former MP, and former Energy Minister, which will be relevant later on this evening in the show. OK, so what Trump was saying there, Lloyd, was there are 3 potential big public debates. That must be a good thing, mustn't it? Because I'm not sure the American public have seen that much of Kamala Harris.
Well, she has been their vice president for the last 4 years.
I know, and yet.
Yes,
right.
but your point is taken. I think that will be very interesting. I can't see why the Democrats wouldn't accept those 3 dates. I think, I was listening to that there, and he was sounding now like the slightly doddery old man. And what Kamala needs to do is come above that, not try and go on that level, and seeing the young dynamic do that, and Democrats...
Donald Trump would much have preferred Joe Biden.
Much. I mean, that's the problem his campaign has had, because they've essentially focused all their guns, their ammunition, if I could use that metaphor, on Joe Biden. And of course, he's been substituted at the last minute by a very different sort of character in terms of profile, in terms of demographics. And I think that they're struggling to adjust.
I was hoping that I could hear him actually talk about Palestine, but I can't hear what he's saying.
I suppose it'd be quite useful if the Palestinian state, run by Hamas, didn't want to obliterate Israel and kill all its people. You can't recognise a Palestinian state at this moment in time, whilst Hamas, a terrorist organisation dedicated in their own charter to wiping Israel off the face of the map, exists.
It's also crazy because, like, this is just what Israel is doing.
I wonder sometimes whether we've all forgotten what happened on October the 7th. And the fact that Hamas said afterwards... They do it again and again and again. And none of this, of course, is to praise what Netanyahu's done and what is happening in Gaza. Long term, Keith, long term, if we had an Israeli and Palestinian state coexisting, respecting the rights of the others to exist, a sort of Abraham Accords, that was...
Also crazy that anyone promoting the Abraham Accords is insane.
That stretched across the whole region, then fine. But to do it now is wrong. It rewards...
I hope he pays for his lies and the damage he has done to Britain.
Terrorism. And Starmer, well, of course, he said he wouldn't recognise Palestine, which is why, of course, he is, because he...
Yeah, it wasn't decades ago. They took it out in 2017.
U-turns on everything, and because the left of British politics is screaming for him to do so. It is leadership from Starmer.
He's saying that recognising a Palestinian state rewards terrorism.
On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, in 1918, the guns fell silent on the Western Front and all the other theatres of war. It is a very, very important moment in our national...
Oh, I mean, look, Britain shouldn't have a say on whether Palestinians should get their own state. His voice sounds like someone who smoked way too many cigarettes, bro. Like, this guy is Do you know one of the craziest things about Nigel Farage, though? Nigel Farage nearly died in a plane crash. And there are all these crazy photos. I won't show the ones because they've got blood on. But look at this one. He was injured in this plane crash and he somehow survived it. Like, look at the photos of him. It's crazy.
Story. And it's something, actually, that has very much been respected in recent years in a remarkable way, on top of Remembrance Sunday, which, of course, takes place at the Cenotaph, a ceremony...
Do you know something interesting about Remembrance? Like, in England, right, we have, like, this thing called Remembrance Sunday, which is ostensibly about the First World War. How it actually started is really interesting, because how Remembrance Sunday started was... They basically had a procession and loads of people just went out into the street, to grieve about what had happened to their families, because prior to that they hadn't been allowed to. And everyone else during the First World War grave robbed. The French kept grave robbing their children because they were like, you shouldn't be burying them in national cemeteries. That's not fair. Like, we want to grieve over our children who've been killed in this war. But when it comes to, when it comes to, like, England, George the Fourth or George the Fifth said, no English body shall return. So, like, England's engagement with the memory of it all is pretty farcical anyway. In that, it is, like, you know, people remember the sacrifices made by people in the First World War, which, by the way, was a product of elites and a bizarre system of thinking that if everyone was cousins and had sex with each other, that everything would be fine. But yeah, like... No, everyone grave robbed during the First World War, and the reason they grave robbed is because when you didn't have the channel in the way they take it. That is a crazy story that your friend got to go on a date with the son of this man.
For years the Queen attended, and of course King Charles will be there on Sunday the 12th.
And that is also unbelievable that he said that he wanted a black girlfriend. But it doesn't surprise me.
But I find it pretty extraordinary.
Maybe she was his beard so he could beat the racist allegations.
That there is a big pro-Palestine march. In fact, demands from some for 1 million strong march to come through the centre of London.
I love how they cited this TikTok posting of Friends of Al-Aqsa thing that has 800 likes. I doubt that anyone has noticed his disfigurement. No, I'm not sure either.
On the 11th of November. Now, I have said before, to great criticism, that I've worried in the past about a lot of people coming into Britain with whom we have no shared history and no shared culture. And
wait,
this,
what
I
did
think,
he just say?
Is about a lot of people coming into Britain with whom we have no shared history and no shared culture. And this...
Yeah, I mean, like, just listen to how racist this guy is. He's like, we have no history, no shared culture. Didn't all of those, pointless kind of wars teach us that, oh, we shouldn't, especially the First World War was seen as, like, pointless, and the amount of trauma and destruction that came from it taught us that we should try and respect human life, that we should treat human beings equally, allegedly, that we should and the Second World War taught us that we should never again allow a genocide to occur. So how is this a different value? They are the ones actually interpreting all of the messages associated with this thing.
I think is a very good example of that. Should this march go ahead, and especially should it be allowed to go down Whitehall past the Cenotaph?
Oh no, they're going to go near the cenotaph, which is cordoned off and no one is allowed to go near.
And I think the answer just has to be no. I think this march...
Yeah, Britain has... Someone was asking, why should Britain have a say? Britain's say should be, yeah, we fucked up and shouldn't have established a Jewish state because we knew we shouldn't have done it even early on. And the very fabric of the Balfour Declaration was a fucking joke. We have so much responsibility. This is part of our history and culture. Most of the people coming into Britain have had their history and culture hugely affected by British interference and violence. 100%. By the way, there's... Oh, fuck. Malcolm... There's a guy in the UK called Michael X, who... His name was Michael De Freitas, and there's a video of him. He talks about him. He did something pretty fucked up towards the end of his life, in my understanding. Like a murder, maybe, in another country. But anyway, Michael X, he called himself Michael X because someone thought that he was Malcolm X's brother when he was with Malcolm X. And anyway, he was... there's a video of him where he talks about it. He was like, we were told we were part of the empire. We were told that we were like subjects of the Queen. And when we came here, we would be respected. And all I've been met with is racism.
Has to be blocked. It's not as if there's a shortage of pro-Palestine marches. They're taking place all the time. And not just in London, but in many other cities as well. So I think...
Yeah, I mean, the guy who wants to be of the US elite anyway. He's literally in Succession. Succession mother. The guy in Succession is who does she marry? Wait, who does she marry? Anyway, if you've seen Succession, there's a character in Succession that is just meant to be this guy who, like, arse licks Logan Roy and just clearly wants to be part of the elite. Also, God, my PC is cooked. My PC is cooked. Like, I can barely click around. Oof.
This march should be...
No. Brian Cox isn't meant to be him, but the character who marries their mum. What's his name? Peter Munyon, that's his name. This guy in Succession is meant to be Nigel Farage. I mean, even look at the photo of them next to each other. I need that feature that Hassan has where you can, like, instantly scroll. Because, like, this guy's just, like, runs around arse-licking the Roys and trying to be part of their family.
Blocked. Mayor Khan has said precious little about it.
I will not be bloody pausing the stream.
It's interesting to see that in Germany, they really are taking a very different approach. I was astonished to see the Vice-Chancellor, Robert Halbeck, who's a Green, saying that what was happening on the streets of Berlin was unacceptable and that there would be tough consequences. 4,000 people so far have been arrested on the streets of Germany. I think for historical, for cultural, for national reasons, we should not allow a march past the cenotaph.
Literally, this guy who's now having a little crying fit about, we've got no free speech to say we hate black people. Is here just talking, is here just like, sorry, say we hate black people. Sorry, that was actually a mistake. To say that we hate Muslims, even though you can say that, you know.
Putin is a war criminal and a dictator who has regularly interfered in other countries' democratic elections.
No problem with Biden or the UAE and the people who do that.
No one has stopped Mr. Farage from parroting Putin's absurd talking points, like when Farage claimed that NATO, the U.S. and Britain provoked this war in Ukraine. For a man who fashions himself as some kind of a free speech martyr, Mr. Farage seems most at home with the autocrats and dictators of the world who are crushing freedom.
Yeah, I mean, so that's Nigel Farage talking about it. I just want to see, because there was a video of him actually...
I don't care. Hey, what you like?
Like, I don't care, because that's what free speech is. And in a sense, this has all been going wrong now for a couple of decades. We've kind of forgotten the Voltairean principles that we'll fight and defend to the death your right to say something that we fundamentally disagree with.
Like, who are these guys that he's brought? Is that one of his kids? Because that kid looks like a neek just nodding. And this guy looks like fucking Draco Malfoy.
That is the absolute foundation, if you think about it, of free speech, of democracy.
These people also have to be British. That guy has way too British of a face to be anything. I should get a Farage puppet, and hold it up and, like, make it speak.
Of living in freedom. It's kind of why we fought 2 world wars at massive, massive cost to defend that very principle for ourselves and for many, many others around the country. And I first became worried about all this with cancel culture. You know, the idea that we can't have this speaker go to a university.
I'm sorry, but if someone is going to a university to put the idea into children's heads that committing war crimes is okay, should be allowed, I'm against that. I'm against Israeli soldiers being allowed to go to to go to university campuses and just say this kind of stuff is just obscene. Also, I've just noticed something. I've just accidentally clicked on my TikTok and I've seen a comment. Soy boy. Like, between you, between DXR, between other members of this community, I am at breaking point. I am genuinely at breaking point with you. Like, calling me a soy boy now. Like, what is this?
Because some people might be offended by what he or she have to say. It is important to note that there is not a parent in the United Kingdom, and I would guess it's the same for America too, that is not concerned about content their children as minors can find on the internet. Not a single parent that is not concerned about this. But at the moment, we're not finding the right solutions. I do myself begin to think that hardware might be one of the solutions. That laptops, that handsets could be programmed.
Why would you program a headset? What would be the reason to program a headset? Like, what, so you couldn't talk to people?
Programmed so that many, many apps and many, many services simply aren't available from these devices. But what we've done is to go down the legislative route. And it's extraordinary that, you know, I come from the land of Magna Carta, or I come from the land that gave us the Mother of Parliaments, and it doesn't give me any great joy to be sitting in America.
You know what's also funny, though, is to go like, I come from the land of the Magna Carta, but you also come from the land of rotten boroughs and all these other things. Like, when people sit here and they're like, oh, Britain's had such a long history of democracy. One of the things I also probably should have noted is that when it comes to, like, democracy, people expect instantaneous results. And so, like, when you have something like, I don't know, a democracy that doesn't return exactly what you'd expect instantaneously. In the UK, we waited until 1832 to engage the Reform Act, which was this massive problem of, like, 2 members of Parliament just came from this place. I know it's a painting, I'm not stupid, but now I'm zoomed out really far. How do I fix that? Old Sarum Constable. So this is just an uninhabited hill which had 2 members of Parliament. Like, we just had all of these places that were being used to manipulate elections. And so when you sit there and you're like, I come from this land of that thing and this thing, it's like, we also have been through long periods of our democracy not functioning well.
And describing the really awful authoritarian situation.
And also, by the way, look at this. This guy is in support of banning Palestine action. This is what the UN, a human rights body, actually says about this. Disturbing misuse of UK counter-terrorism legislation, Turk warns. He's not there to speak about that because the US is doing that kind of stuff too. The US has been doing that for decades. Do I come from the land down under? Maybe I do.
That we have now sunk into.
Like, just listening to this, it's not serious. It's not engaging with actual cancel culture and free speech and any of these things. It's just people who want to continue the status quo. Oh shit, Trump's talking about Epi.
These case files, these documents to be released, and Thomas Massey, who was sponsoring a discharge position to get the House to vote on releasing those documents, says he doesn't believe.
As a Scot, it's so terrible having virtually zero say what goes on in Westminster. Oh, 100%. 100%. Like, that it's, Men at Work's best song is, Who Can It Be Now? But, like, just listening to, people who are just like, oh, the UK's got this great democratic history. It's like, do we? Or is it still like a work in progress that isn't functioning fully yet? And it's not that Churchill quote of, oh, it's the best of a bad system. It's like, nah, democracy's just been eroded, even to the basic concept of democracy that we once had, by the intrusion of banks and big business into into democratic society.
You're implicated in these files, but many of your friends and donors may be, and he says that's why the Justice Department is redacting them. And
Midnight Oil. I don't know what Midnight Oil is. I've never heard of Midnight Oil.
Slow walking the release. Is the Justice Department protecting any friends or donors, sir? So this is a Democrat hoax.
You know, the funniest part is Epstein was arrested under Trump.
That never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he has got a point. They're talking down. They're talking down on America's greatest ever sex offender. Like, this is a guy who had so much power. He was American through and through, like all American sex offender, friends of Trump. You know, like, they're denying the success of America.
Since I've been president, even if you look at D.C., right?
Also, why would it be a Democrat hoax? Because Bill Clinton is, like, categorically involved in this. The Clintons and other Democratic figures. Trump's just scared because he's involved in it, hence why he can't be like, the Democrats have done this.
Right now, D.C., it's a totally safe zone. It's called a safe zone. That's a term. It's a term of art. It's a safe zone because it's very safe. You can walk down the street now and nothing.
Oh, I mean, the thing is that we don't even need the Epstein files. We had that thing recently where he was like, we love secrets with Jeffrey Epstein, likes them. Like, this is a quote by Trump. I've known Jeffrey for years. Terrific guy, Trump told the New York Magazine in 2002. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side. Bro, like, that's just him talking about him being a paedophile. Like, that's just him talking about him being a paedophile. Like, he knew.
Things going to happen. No crime, no murders, no nothing. Because we had a lot of problems with certain places, and we still do. All run by Democrats, or for the most part run by Democrats. So what they're trying to do with the Epstein hoax is get people to talk about that instead of speaking about the tremendous success like ending 7 wars.
What, you know, also, apparently India... By the way, India denies it was pressured into ending conflict with Pakistan. It's not true. What 7 wars is he talking about?
Ended 7 wars. Nobody.
He hasn't ended the main one that he was talking about, which was Russia and Ukraine.
He's going to talk about, because they're going to talk about the Epstein, whatever. Sir, I understand that we were subpoenaed to give files, and I understand we've given thousands of pages of files. And I...
You know, also, by the way, they're lying about the amount of information. TrueAnon talked about this. There are, like, dozens of terabytes of information from Epstein. Epstein was like a surveillance freak. This is, like, known stuff, and they're apparently only going through 300 gigabytes.
I know that no matter what you do, it's going to keep going. And I think it's enough, because I think we should talk about the greatness of our country and the success that we're having. I think we're probably having, according to what I read, even from 2 people in this room, we're having the most successful 8 months of any president ever. And that's what I want to talk about.
It's also amazing. Just say things and people will believe it. I wonder what that room smells like. I mean, Trump's probably shit himself. Like, let's be frank here. Like, just like listening to this guy, like listening to him talk about Putin and the fact he met him and all of this stuff.
They were doing it.
Oh, he's even commented on Xi Jinping.
And they were hoping I was watching, and I was watching. My relationship with all of them is very good. We're going to find out how good it is over the next week or two. I think that we helped China very much, as you know, when they talk about freedom. And I don't believe that, and maybe I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't believe that America, that the United States was acknowledged for helping China to get to gain its freedom.
What? What is he even talking about here?
But perhaps that was just a sleight of hand. I mean, I was very surprised. I watched the speech last night. President Xi's a friend of mine, but I thought that the United States should have been mentioned last night during that speech because we helped China very, very much.
Like, what is he talking about? What is he talking about there?
The British government have gone about this, frankly, as a sledgehammer.
He's talking about Graham Linehan. Is there any more Trump stuff here? Just bloody hell, like just shit after shit. There was actually one final video that I wanted to watch that's like UK related. Sorry, you guys have been bombarded with goddamn UK information today. This video is crazy though. Like, for all of these fucking free speech advocates who are like, people in Britain are so angry about the damn Muslim migrants, like killing all the kiddies.
But you're a local person.
I'm a local, I live right over there. I'm a local, yeah.
And this is pre-recorded, by the way. We're not live.
Oh, no worries.
Your friends might be live, though.
Oh, that's
We're definitely live.
I've been sent down by the family.
Nothing will escape this. This is all live and unedited. Nothing can be twisted.
Well, I've seen the protest been going on, and and for a while I was just kind of watching it, and then I saw that Sky had come down and kind of interviewing what everyone's talking about, and I saw that a lot of time they were bringing up the locals and how locals have been restricted because of people in the area, and I thought as a local myself to come down and answer any questions about what we can and what we actually can't do. Yeah.
Thank you for coming down.
Yeah.
As a local, what have you seen change in your local area? Tell me about...
Like, also, by the way, the changes that you're going to see might be some enrichment of the culture.
Why are people
I would say I haven't seen any change at all, really. I mean...
People are angry because they're disaffected and increasingly there's no support.
Mainly that nothing really bothered me at all. We weren't seeing anything. I mean, every now and again you have the minority cases where an asylum seeker will commit a crime, but it's judging it person by person, not by the ethnic group that they're in. And then I think we haven't had much problems.
Trump or Austin show, be gone from Chris. What do you mean Austin show? Who's Austin show?
Now and again I can't sleep because of the protests going on. So they've been really loud. Weirdly, I'd say the protests have actually been the biggest disruption in the local neighbourhoods. I'm not going to die, there is crimes committed by asylum seekers, but it's not a majority. It's a minority of a minority of a minority. And I said the bigger issue is I just want some players shut.
No, there aren't subs, and I don't know why it's so fucking quiet. Like, it's quiet for me as well, and I don't know why.
Like when I go to sleep, you know? It's just getting a bit too loud here.
No, he's wearing a fucking England flag.
Really?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And in terms of, you've come down here especially.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Are you a lefty by any chance?
No, I don't think I'm left or right. I think mainly I'm just having...
You're a local person.
I am a local.
I've never seen this gentleman before, Glenn.
God, this kid, like, bro, he's a child, but what is wrong? He looks like Trump.
Stitched up.
He looks like he's wearing a mask.
Yeah, we're being stitched up. I've never seen you.
I'm not a lefty.
He's a lefty. I've never seen you.
I'm a local.
You can also just hear that this is a bunch of fucking, like, drunk people with nothing going for them. Like, literally just being like, yeah, fucking migrants and Muslims have done this to me.
Just come in. You've never
Is
been
any
here
other local
before.
Yeah, hold up, hold a minute. I'm just going to show this
It's
ball.
very strange that you just jumped to say you're speaking.
Yeah,
We've never seen you before. You've been a protest last 5 minutes. We've never seen you here.
Hold up.
I'll hold the British side. Yeah, absolutely fine. I love
I want them balls.
I like British people. I like that this stands for freedom and equality.
All right.
Equality, especially, you know.
All right. Very quick to jump in.
I saw it exactly.
Yeah,
all
you see the
right.
opportunity.
Exactly, I did. Yes.
We caught him. How did Obama said it? We got him.
How did Obama said it? We got him. He's an Obama fan.
No, go away. We don't like you. We don't like you.
But look at this. It's just like a small amount of people drinking in the street near Norwich. Norwich is shit, by the way.
Look at that. Infiltrator. And an infiltrator.
An infiltrator, just someone expressing a different point of view to you.
Pino!
I'm piss drunk because of Muslims. The Muslims made me drink because they wouldn't drink at the event.
Okay.
They're all just chanting pedo as well. I mean, it's quite like a horrible experience for him, but it's also quite like just sort of bizarre.
Oh, Jesus.
But, like, genuinely, these people are not safe. Like, these are just drunken, angry people being bolstered and supported by the UK government. They're gonna harm and kill someone at some point, these protesters, 100%.
Freedom protector!
What's he doing?
Yeah, he literally was like, I love Britain. He didn't give any strong opinion.
Oh, it's getting heated. It's getting heated.
This is also... these people are so weird. The guy filming this filmed for 7 hours. 7 hours. Well, I mean, it is a terrifying experience for this guy, definitely, being chased around by these men and also living in that local area. But I just mean in terms of, like, just these people. Like, it's comical. Because they believe that, like, every single asylum seeker is a pedophile because they're literally being told by, like, these people that they're, like, Muslim grooming gangs. Which in certain areas, these Muslim grooming gangs do exist. But the failures are also on the community level of the people who just did not prosecute them.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if they learnt about ancient Chinese culture, this would improve things. If they knew Falun Gong.
That was a, an infiltrator of sorts, I guess. If that's the word I'm looking for.
There's an infiltrator?
He's on private land! He's on private land! He's on private land!
Alright, it's getting a bit fruity.
Yeah, this guy was live for 8 hours, bro. He's live for longer than Hassan Piker. But, like, literally just someone who says something mild is getting chased around by these thugs. And they're being supported by our government. Like, bro, this is troubling. I don't think grooming's exclusive. No, grooming is 100% not exclusive to race. But in certain areas, there were, like, specifically these Muslim grooming gangs. Of course, even in these areas, there were, like, attacks by other people. But these grooming gangs, like, do exist, by the way. It's not, like, a complete fictitious thing. But the fuck thing about them is if you listen to people, all the girls are like, the police ignored us. The police literally go... they're like, the police ignored us. There's one story about this one girl who was 18 and she'd been groomed for years. And she brought one of her friends to this party who was 16 or 17. And she got arrested. And none of the people who groomed her got arrested. Because they were like, oh, you brought a minor for prostitution. And she got arrested for it. And none of the people who abused her. It's fucked. And the people abusing them were parked outside of care homes. And yeah. Apparently Scottish Parliament has just voted in favour of a full boycott of Israel. A Green proposal asking for Scottish to impose a package of boycotts, divestments and sanctions targeted at the state of Israel and at companies complicit in its military operations and its occupation was passed 62 votes to 31. It won't pass in the UK, though. Keir Starmer won't let it pass. But, I mean, it should pass, but that's crazy news. I mean, I hope... it's just unfortunate that until we see, like, Western countries taking... Some police were involved. Oh, yeah, police were involved. It is crazy. It is crazy that this kind of stuff went on and that these young women were forced to suffer in this way. But once again, it much more than being a story of, like, Muslims are evil. It's a story of how young women who are on the fringes of society and are in precarious living situations or in care are being failed by these systems continually. And as they are divested from by the UK government, you know... They are always going to be suffering. How dare you steal Prince Andrew's valour? Indeed. Indeed. Prince Andrew is a true martyr of Britain. A free speech martyr.
You know, we're...
Oh, and also, just quickly to note the Lush things.
We're expecting them to do. We would like to point out, especially to our government... and to everyone else, that, you know, we're expecting them to do something.
I can't remember a comparable exercise from a sort of organisation as big as yours. Was it your own personal idea, or
well, no, I wouldn't be allowed.
No.
Do I support it completely? Absolutely. Am I keen? Yes.
Do you have any idea how big a financial hit you're going to take as a consequence of doing this?
Yeah, around 300,000.
And that you feel is a price worth paying to draw attention?
Well, it would be good to be able to pay for food to go into Gaza, wouldn't it? Rather than just sacrifice it. We would like to.
Yeah, I mean, so they're taking around £300,000 of a hit, and also that fucking what you just said. Friendship ended with healthy children. Polio is my best friend now. Crazy stuff. Crazy fucking stuff. But yeah, just unsurprising. Right. Trump. Tren de Aragua. Tren de Aragua.
The US military has killed 11 people in a strike on a vessel from Venezuela sent by President Donald Trump to have been carrying illegal narcotics. Now, it is the first known operation since his administration's recent deployment of warships to the Southern Caribbean. Trump heralding that action and saying, well, there's more to come. Earlier, we spoke to our correspondent Fraser Jackson in Washington.
Donald Trump has posted a dramatic video that appears to show US firepower blowing up a boat in the Southern Caribbean. President Trump says that the vessel...
I wanted to see Trump actually talking about it, not these people talking about it. Oh, where is this announcement? I want to see a...
Venezuela. Saying it shows the U.S. military attacking a speedboat in the Caribbean suspected of drug smuggling. He says the strike in
By the way, the one ear is this issue. I don't know why it's doing it.
International waters killed 11 people tied to the Tren de Aragua gang, which Trump claims operates under Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro.
We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela.
The attack coming days after the U.S. sent 8 Navy ships to the region to combat threats from drug cartels. Secretary of State Marco Rubio heading to Mexico.
Marco, it's so funny as well because, like, Trump, whatever, is maybe a horrific guy, and he's definitely someone who, as I say, shits himself regularly. But what I will say about Trump is that at least he has some form of, like, aura in terms of you can see why people kind of like I'm not like his politics is horrifying, but you can at least see what people are like, that they look at him and they're like, wow, he's a leader. Look at this guy.
Mexico and Ecuador to focus on immigration and crime was asked whether more attacks like this are expected.
No one should be
Little Marco.
surprised. That's why they're there on a counter-drug mission, and they're going to continue to operate. As far as specifics and future operations, I have to refer you to the...
Oh, you know what? I'm going to try and find this. Oh, fucking hell.
Pentagon on that.
Observers saying the move could be an attempt to undermine Maduro's regime, hurting profits from the drug trade. Maduro has...
Right.
And when you
Here we go. I don't know why it's so hard to find some of this shit.
Leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat.
A lot of drugs on that boat.
And you'll be seeing that, and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago, and our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so...
Americans don't believe the war on drugs. I mean, I think some people do. You see it more manifested through all the fentanyl stuff now, and like, oh, China was attacking us with fentanyl was what his actual initial argument was. But I think he's kind of moved away from that. But the reason, I'll talk about this in a second, because I did do quite a bit of research on Tren de Aragua.
Incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it if we didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over.
So basically, why Tren de Aragua are amazing for Trump is because, so I looked into some stuff about them and I bothered to do some reading. Now, if you read up on Tren de Aragua, especially in English, I think there will be more that you can find in Spanish if you're, or like non-English languages. But Tren de Aragua are crazy. They've got some guy who works for them called El Flipa, which sounds like a character made up from the Simpsons to be like, El Flipper, hold on, I want to see if I can find his name. Oh, what's his name? It may be La Flipper. Let me look it up. Where is this? Why can't I find this? I was learning about him. Anyway, but there is a guy called La Flipper who is a key member of El Flipper, La Flipper, whoever he is, I don't know. But he's like one of the key nodes in the Tren de Aragua thing. He's like a pretty senior official. Hold on, I'll actually just find it. Here we go. El Flipper. Look. So this is apparently the key. This is someone's paper who talks about Tren de Aragua. It was written in America, so who knows, like, the truth of it. But basically, his name is Kenferson Sevillar Arteaga, alias El Flipper. El Flipper, not La Flipper. And then there's another guy called Johan Jose Guerrero, alias Johan Petrica, not Patricia. Carlos Conejo is Los Veras. Josue Angel Santana, alias El Santanita. Nino Guerrero. This is the main guy. Can one of you tell me what this guy is called? Jose Gabriel Alvarez Rojas, alias El Chino Pradera. What does that mean? What does this mean? Wilmer Perez Castillo, alias Wilmer Guayabal. I'm doing pronunciations. If you heard me speak Farsi, I wouldn't be going, man Chris am. I'm learning. I don't speak Farsi, but like, I'm just saying their names how maybe they would be said in my head. Speak a little Espanol from them. El Chino Pradera. That sounds more Italian. Timu Franco. The Big Chin. Is that actually his name? El Chino is the way. Chino refers. This chart is designed for me. But yeah, these are like nodes of connection. And Goyo Chevrolet. Jose Alvarado. Everyone should watch Ozark. But anyway, this is like maybe the closest thing. So the leader is this guy called Nino Guerrero. But if you don't know anything about him, this is the only photo that exists of this guy. There's never been... Well, actually, there's an alleged other photo of him. This is Nino Guerrero, who's the leader of Tren de Aragua. And he is still the leader of Tren de Aragua. I need to send you an audio file for me pronouncing these names to you. No, it's okay. You don't need to. I'm just going to pronounce them however I want. This guy, the Crimson Chin, is that actually his name? But this is the leader, but he's on the run, and he's apparently between Venezuela and Venezuela and Colombia. That's what the Colombian intelligence services think. So they don't know anything about the British leader. Sorry, this guy. I just said British leader because I was reading chat. They don't know anything really about this Tren de Aragua organization. In fact, apparently, according to one article I read, for a long time people said that it may not exist because all of the arrests that have been carried out, like the people who've been arrested, have... they don't have tattoos, they don't flaunt their lifestyles, so they're not associated with other cartels. Although apparently in one they said that they have recorded stuff. They're not like the Mexican cartel, like posting heinous videos on they're not posting like videos of what they're doing. So they're quite like a shadowy organization that operates with degrees of separation. And they are definitely an organization which sows chaos, destruction, violence, and all of these things. But the idea that they're on the same level, really, there's a Colombian podcaster called Claudia Buenaventura. She researched that Marco Rubio's brother was a drug lord. I mean, Tren de Aragua probably do have some collaboration with some figures, and that's what this one paper I read suggested. It suggested that there was some collaboration. I'll send it. From prison gang to transnational criminal organization, people just don't know much about them. They are like a significant organization, but the idea that they're like destroying America is ridiculous. But ultimately, by choosing a shadowy organization, calling them terrorists, and then saying, yeah, you can basically kill all of them. I mean, you see, like, who knows what was going on inside of that fucking boat, even if it was. Like, is that the truth? Is that the truth, or did Trump just kill loads of people? Let's have a look at this video, because this is the actual compound, and it's fucking crazy. Yeah, we can't listen to the audio, so I'll just, like, talk. Here's a video of some men in the prison shooting. These are the Venezuelan security forces retaking over the prison. More than 11,000 police officers took part in the operation at the Tocaron prison, which had been taken over by members of the powerful Tren de Aragua gang. This was like their fucking headquarters, just this prison. Some surprising changes made by the gang bosses. I'm not going to narrate in... They were building a swimming pool. And that looks like a nice-ass fucking pool. Along with a nightclub and even a zoo. Kidnapping, human trafficking, extortion. They got the damn bitcoins! They got the damn bitcoins! I mean, I think that it was basically not a prison at this point. Among the items seized from the prison were Bitcoin mining machines. Yeah, this shit does look fun. I mean, it was also probably a space of murder and torture, so maybe not so fun there. I mean, this is the thing. I think it's because a lot of it's in Spanish, but I think that they just had full control of it with collaboration with, like, some key political figures. Rocket launchers. I'm surprised they didn't fight back, because it looks like they had the weaponry to, like, fight back. Like, the vast majority of the leaders actually fled. But Maduro is what he tells you. Boom, ba, boom. Mami, esta gente no nos quiere. Marquito is Scarface, but Maduro is what he tells you. Boom, ba, boom. Mami, esta gente no nos quiere. Is that something to do with Marco Rubio? If this had been raided today, they would have found Dubai matcha lattes and labubus that were being illegally trafficked to the US. Well, that's you said it's an actual prison gang, and seemingly there was a Tren de Aragua founded years ago as a prison gang, but then also someone said it was like the last decade where it emerged. But yeah, I mean, this looks crazy. It looks crazy. Labubus would fit. They were missing a Dubai chocolate vending machine. Hell yeah. No Dubai chocolate vending machine, no Labubus and matcha lattes. What's even the point? But basically, what Trump is doing is basically just finding this organization that is very complex to the point where, like, honestly, this article says... Look at this article. This is in the International or something. They're so stealthy that their very existence has been questioned. Unlike Mexican cartels, they don't publish videos in which they behead their enemies. Some arrests in Chile and Peru have shown the gang leaders to be discreet individuals who don't have tattoos or flaunt the narco aesthetic. They are certainly to be feared. Now their existence is being used to stigmatize Venezuelans. But it's not just Trump who has done this. Dina Boluarte in Peru has done it. Or Claudia Lopez when she was mayor of Bogota. In Chile, there are many cases of xenophobia against the Venezuelan community. It's not just the US phenomenon, the author explains. So this is them talking about this. An alleged is transferred. So this is someone who was allegedly was. He just doesn't even look that much like a gang member. Like, not the tattoos. The White House claims that that Maduro is behind them, but... Experts have not ruled out the possibility of some kind of negotiation between the criminal organization and the Chavista government in the past, but to date there is no evidence directly linking the two. That lacks any semblance of truth. So this is William Saab, the prosecutor, the Attorney General of of Venezuela. Got in prison for that trim. I feel like that's a pretty South American trim, bro. Chelsea's new signing, Garnacho's got that trim. Bro, look at Garnacho's trim. How are you being mean to him? Garnacho's got a similar trim. Like, this... Which way, South American man? Blonde hair or the black hair with the trim? But they said that the most significant event is that the Venezuelan dissident Ronald Ojeda so he was a former, he's a Maduro dissident. He tried to participate in a coup, I think. And they think that Tren de Aragua did this. That's what the investigation led by Chilean prosecutor Hector Barros suggested the crime was politically motivated and possibly orchestrated by Venezuelan authorities with the involvement of Tren de Aragua, a Venezuelan criminal organization. It doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. Yeah, I was over the video 40 in that Adam Curtis video you made. Adam Curtis video I made. Which Adam Curtis video I made? I was wearing a Supreme t-shirt in my last thing. What did New York Anthony say? You can't just bonk me every time I bite my lap. A lot of these gangs are at some point CIA trained. I mean, by the way, a lot of Colombian mercenaries are now just going to fight in the UAE. Sorry, I just got some kind of notification. Sorry, I thought someone had sent me something, a friend, but it was someone else. And I don't know why I got a notification for that. Oh, my TikTok hasn't really got many views on Instagram. Apparently Sudan's military destroyed a plane with Colombian mercenaries on, but yeah. The thing is that they're like Colombian mercenaries are just going out over there. But this is the one that as of July, the detainee in the case was a 17-year-old Venezuelan minor. The Chilean Supreme Court granted a 60-day extension for the investigation. Meanwhile, keys including Villegas and Larry Alvarez Nunez, Larry Changa, were arrested in Colombia and Costa Rica, respectively, with extradition processes underway. Barros linked the murder to a faction of the Tren de Aragua group operating in Chile, implicating 16 individuals in Ojeda's, it would be Ojeda, right? Ojeda Moreno, Ronald Leandro Ojeda Morena. I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, the Chilean prosecutors are alleging that someone related to Tren de Aragua did this. It was noted by the Chilean far-right, proto-Trump Chilean. Oh, okay. I guess maybe that's plausible as well. And when it mentions like the demonization of Venezuelans generally, it could be happening. So yeah. It could just be demonization of Venezuelans for the sake of political gain and just demonizing others, you know. It's not implausible. That's not something that's like rare to see around the world at this point, you know. But yeah, it's interesting. El Kunzler is the leader of Tren de Aragua. I am the leader. I like what they were doing. I liked when they set up that prison. But yeah, basically, by just having this faceless terrorist organization and invoking fears that like America is being assaulted by like evil immigrants who want to destroy and degrade you by drugs. There you have the other, because like it's very obvious when you look at American cities and like all the fentanyl, all of this stuff, that you are seeing like an opioid pandemic. But isn't the opioid pandemic much more like a direct result of like shitty American policy? Like the stream guys, White Boy stuns Hispanic community with by speaking a little Spanish. It was someone from Tren de Aragua. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of like the Muslim Brotherhood, you know, like an organization. You can literally just be like, this is the most evil thing ever. It is faceless, and killing anyone associated with it by your security regimes is just okay. And that's now expanding to the US. But also, like, Trump wants people to be focused on this shit. I was listening to Adam Tooze talking about this again. Lisa Cook. So Trump's dismissal of the Federal Reserve is he dismissed Lisa Cook. Now, like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really care about Trump. The Federal Reserve Governor, Lisa Cook. Let's have a look at Trump talking about this, because this is relevant to what I'm about to talk about.
Serious note, when it comes to Fed Governor Lisa Cook, her lawyer has said that they're going to be filing a lawsuit challenging this legal action. What is your response? Are you prepared for a legal fight? And then a little bit more
Oh,
of a-
sure.
of a
Always. You
happy
always have
question,
legal
sir.
fights. Look,
And
I
then
had a
on
legal
football-
fight that went on for years with crooked people, with very horrible people, people that have been found out now between John Ratcliffe and Tulsi and Pam. And I mean, the things that we found out, of course, it's a very, very sad group of people. But no, she seems to have had an infraction, and she can't have an infraction, and especially that infraction, because she's in charge of, if you think about it, mortgages, and we need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was.
It's so funny that Trump's just like, we need 100% above board, when his entire thing is just like cheating his way to the top and like collaborating with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not saying that word because I don't know what it means, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not saying it. They're an item, Venezuelan fashions do. What do you mean by this comment? What do you mean by it? As in, like, they're in item. I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. I mean, Federal Reserve bankers. Lol, all the conspiracy theorists be loving Trump right now, lol. Yeah, I mean, also, by the way, this is genuinely, like, what the deep state is. Like, what the deep state Trump is talking about is, they invited Venezuelan fascists to migrate to Chile to oh, I see what you mean. Oh, interesting as fuck. I didn't know that at all. I mean, it's like population engineering isn't that insane. In Bahrain, because the Shia community is so fucking restive and doesn't want to live under a dictatorship because they're treated so badly, in Bahrain, they've been importing over Sunni Muslims for years. And, yeah, they've been protesting for years. Meanwhile, right-wing Mexico wants a U.S. invasion. What? Because of Claudia Sheinbaum. Because she's goddamn evil. She's a woke Marxist from the left. But do you know something interesting? Adam Tooze was talking about this. Apparently, something that that she's interested in, Lisa Cook and a lot of these people put into power by during the Biden administration. I'm not saying they're pretty goddamn woke. That's what I'm about to say. Apparently, these people are Lisa Cook and stuff. They were like interested in stuff like young black men and how basically one of the key recessions of problems in the U.S. economy is apparently just young black men being out of employment or finding it difficult to find jobs and being fired. Apparently that indicates troublesome times. The US trained drug lords, Iran-Contra. Yeah. What to fight against? Was it the Sandinistas? Iran. Yeah. It was against the Sandinistas. The Sandinistas were the Marxists. Those goddamn Marxist-Leninists. God damn those people. It's always sunny in Bahrain. Oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't even get the joke. But Lisa Cook's goddamn woke. But you know normally the Federal Reserve Governor is appointed for 14 years, so they don't focus on the next elections. It's meant to be something that's not to do with stuff like it's not meant to be to do with politics and such. It's meant to be something that's much more like, oh, we love the American economy. And I don't think the Federal Reserve is doing good things. To be frank with you, it's American. It's doing bad things. Anything American, it's doing bad things. So that's my woke opinion. That's my hot take. But either way, Trump is doing this so he can try and get a government and a deep state that is fully aligned with him and has no checks and breaks on what he wants to do. And whether he gets to do that, I think it's quite plausible. A lot of the opioid epidemic results from... I'm going to start announcing donations like this. $10 from Sophie. A lot of the opioid epidemic results from CIA interference in a similar vein. If you're interested in the history of LSD and the CIA, check out the book Acid Dreams. I mean, I know a bit about... MK Ultra is really interesting to me, but one of the most interesting things about MK Ultra, when people talk about it, part of the motivation for it was because they thought that the Chinese and the Russians had been brainwashing their population because they loved, because people there actually were more supportive of the communist regime. And they were like, how is this possible? And it's obviously just because they were more accountable to the population, and so more people felt not accountable, but they offered more to the population, so yeah. Any Egyptians in the chat? Why do I want the goddamn Egyptians in the chat? What's going on? Why are you asking about the Egyptians? Oh, you're going to the Egyptian restaurant, aren't you? But yeah, also, actually... That's his name. This guy, Yehiel Danur. Yehiel Danur was like an author who lived through the Holocaust, and he moved to Israel, and he's famous because he fainted at Eichmann's trial. There's the photo of him fainting at Eichmann's trial because he said he recognized Eichmann. Here you go. Look, listen to this. In 1976, because of recurring nightmares and depression, Danur subjected himself to a form of psychedelic psychotherapy promoted by Dutch psychiatrist Jan Bastians expressly for concentration camp survivors. It included the use of hallucinogen, LSD, and the visions experienced during this therapy became the basis for his book Shivviti. The book's title is derived from David Psalms 1618. I am ever mindful of the Lord's presence. It's an interesting story. It's a really fucking interesting story. Yeah, it's a really interesting story. But yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I'm in Scotland. It's quite close to the purveying of Egyptian antiquities. But yeah, this is a very interesting story about how he had it. Have you heard about the British Embassy closing down in Egypt for letting Gaza protests take place in front of the Egyptian Embassy in London? No, I haven't heard that. What? UK closes Cairo embassy as Egypt removes security barriers amid feud over pro-Palestinian protests. God, this website has like so much going on. It feels like an assault on the senses, an assault on the eyes. What did Zaina recommend? The goddamn Egyptians. Ketamine is better, is what I'm trying to say. I can't comment, but one of those makes me very sick, and so I have never really taken it very much. And the other one is intriguing. That's my comment. Hello, Shakespeare. You missed out on some very good Spanish pronunciation by me. I microdose before I head into the office. Yeah, bro. I'm doing speedballs before the stream. There was no official... The British Embassy in Cairo said Sunday that it had, after Egyptian authorities removed concrete security barriers from around the complex in Syria. The main embassy building is temporarily closed while we review the impact of works undertaken by the Egyptian authorities in the vicinity. Okay. A UK foreigner told CBS News, and only the primary... there was no official comment from the Egyptian about the removal of the barriers outside the US Embassy, but the move came amid escalating diplomatic tensions between Egypt and several countries over protests targeting Egyptian missions abroad, including the Netherlands, Austria, France, Turkey. Oh, shit. Sisi's quaking. Sisi is quaking. Sisi is quaking in his boots. By the way, this is the same thing that idiot earlier, or like all these people who don't understand why Sisi and stuff won't allow Palestinians to come in. He won't even allow... The Egyptian government won't even allow protests outside of embassies in other countries, because if they do, Egyptians are going to see that it is okay to protest, and they might start protesting against his regime. Like, that is fully plausible. Yeah, I mean, Sisi's just on the rocks, and also, Sisi... I think at a certain point that the Sisi model might... I also think, by the way, this is something that one of my lecturers said. He would always go, no, the Arab Spring, it will happen again. There will be an uprising. Yeah, I have heard about the IAGS thing, the International Association of Genocide Scholars talking about it. I have heard about that. But yeah, he would always be like, no, the Arab Spring, it will happen again. It will happen. There is no doubt about it. The Arab Spring, it will 100% happen. And this guy was a great lecturer, but I think it will happen. I think it is going to happen. Proceeds to give XTC tab with Jesus in print. Pro-Palestinian have chained the doors of Egyptian embassies and consulates are closed from the outside and spray-painted slogans on their walls demanding the opening of the Rafah crossing between northeast Egypt and the war-torn Egypt. I mean, look, the occupation of the Gaza Strip and the siege of it is only plausible because of Egypt. Like, Egypt has to be part of that. Like, Egypt has to be part of that, categorically. Not plausible without them. And so, like, people should be allowed to protest against Egypt and what it is doing there. No fucking doubt. Like, no doubt at all. But yeah. Oh, sorry. What I was going to say is Egypt just isn't actually in control of it. But they should do something about it. Egyptian officials have said their side of the has remained open since the war erupted, while the Israeli military controls the Palestinian side and how much aid. That is actually true, but they should just be doing more about it. They argued that the protests are not random nor peaceful, but rather organised attacks against the country. They have accused European host governments of failing to protect their staff and diplomatic. No, it's because you're scared of protesters because you are dictators. Was heard suggesting Egypt could take reciprocal action, saying if their governments won't provide adequate security for our missions, then we should reconsider our own deployments. Why would you do that? In a few cases, activists who back the Egyptian government have taken matters into their own hands and gathered outside embassies in European capitals, declaring that they were there to protect their facilities. Most of these activists have identified themselves as members of the so-called Union of Egypt Abroad. By the way, I'm pretty convinced that there are, like, who controls the Egyptian government? The UAE and Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. Like, the UAE is... Sisi is a dog of the UAE, basically. Like, he's nothing more than that. And when it comes to, like, this... Whenever I make videos about Egypt, I get videos that are like, why you talk on Sisi like this? Sisi is not like this. We hate Morsi. We hate this. We hate this. Someone just posted... Jesus Christ. Oh, also, by the way, Isabel's going to come on the stream at some point, but... Oh, yeah, what do they call him in Egypt? They call him, like, the Mexican or something like that. But what is the Union of Egyptian Abroad? The people who are doing this, the people who are like in support of this are probably paid by the Egyptian government, and they've locked it again apparently. But yeah, they'll torture their families. So don't forget that these are like important actions and things that you shouldn't just dismiss. Like, these are brave actions. Egyptian Abu Habib chained the gates of wait, what is this? Egyptian diaspora have been protesting. Oh, it's just about how that... The self-described leader, Ahmed Abdul Qadir, was detained in London last week by the British police. According to the Egyptian, Badr al-Badi raised the case with UK National Advisor Jonathan Powell. Who is this guy? Ahmed Abdul Qadir. I can only find a really blurry version of him, but he's literally just someone who just talks about the Muslim Brotherhood. Okay, I found one. This is the guy who's doing it. This is the guy organising against them. But yeah, I mean, it's insane. It's insane. Right. Okay, let's do the Freedom Flotilla. Here it is, the Global Samud Flotilla.
باين في المحنة الله
So once again, the Freedom Flotilla has set sail with activists like Tiago Avila. It's in Barcelona, seemingly. Liam Cunningham, Sir Davos Seaworth. I know who he is now.
You know that it's a shame that I don't speak Arabic yet, but I learned the essentials. Shukran, Afwan, and Beruh Badana Fdik Ya Palestine.
I heard about the Italian dock workers, but I didn't hear what the red line was. I think the red line was if the flotilla is intercepted.
Exalcaldessa de Barcelona, Ada Colau, una de les...
Okay, no more
Se
Spanish.
Israele bloccherà la Global Summit Flotilla, blocchiamo le università. Siamo gli studenti e le studentesse che da 2 anni lottano contro il genocidio
Can you see this? Yeah, you can.
del popolo palestinese, portando avanti il boicottaggio accademico all'interno delle nostre università. La più grande missione umanitaria della società civile mai vista si sta dirigendo verso le coste di Gaza e tenterà di rompere l'assedio. Ora più che mai serve l'aiuto di tutti, anche e soprattutto di chi non è a bordo. Facciamo appello quindi a tutte le realtà studentesche e universitarie. Se Israele bloccherà la Global Summit Flotilla, blocchiamo le università.
Was it not if they no more anti-Spanish?
Hi, I'm Mickey. I'm a Japanese national living in the Netherlands, and I am an engineer, and I have one son, grown-up son, and I have been an activist for 6-7 years now.
Oh fuck! It's got music. That one's the audio's a bit shit. I'm gonna post about this maybe after the stream. The Iraq and Afghanistan. Interview my students last week. That is nice. I'm glad that like more young people are supporting the Palestinian cause. There's not really like much of an update really. I guess actually the best place is just. Hold on. Oh, these all have music on. Fucking Al Jazeera. Okay, we'll do it. I'll read it in my best, like, British presenter voice. A flotilla of boats is sailing to Gaza again, carrying activists and aid to break Israel's siege. Here pictured is Greta Thunberg, Tiago Avila, and then I'm not sure who else. Yasmin Achar. Some of those on board include Greta Thunberg, Tiago Avila, Yasmin Achar, and former Barcelona mayor Ada Colau. 37 boats tried to do this so far. We are mobilizing more boats than all of these combined. And almost 1,000 people mobilized in 17 years to try to break the siege. What should it be? A villa? I don't know. Oh, shit. I mean, to be honest, I think it's difficult to watch without sound. But, oh, history of prominent names. So you have Greta Thunberg, Alice Walker, May Reed Corrigan Maguire, a 1976 Nobel Peace Prize. I thought that said Women's Borat. Monsef Marzouki, former President Marzouki? Former President of Tunisia. I know Tad Hickey. I don't know how you say his name. Tad Hickey? Basil Gattas, Palestinian citizen of Israel, former member of the Israeli Knesset. Mariana of Gothenburg. Chris Smalls is on it again. Previously on the Madeleine. Are these people on it again? Pollard's think piece on Greta in the Telegraph yesterday was pure slime. What is it? Stephen Pollard. Oh, Jesus Christ. Stephen Pollard is like a really, like, I'm sorry, but like, I think at a certain point, like, this guy looks crazy. Like, just crazy, bro. I mean, I'm on Yahoo News to get this. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. The sequel is rarely as good as the original, so it's unlikely that Greta 2, The Flotilla Returns, will be as uproariously hilarious as the first version starring oh, Jesus Christ. Thunberg is sailing today from Barcelona towards the coast of Gaza in an attempt to recreate the same stunt she tried in June when she was one of a dozen activists on a boat carrying what they called symbolic amount of aid for Gaza. The boat was intercepted by the IOF with all the passengers detained and then expelled by Israel. Symbolic was the only word that mattered because it wasn't an actual Schedule 1 bro. Yes, James. Yes, yeah, I'll play. The publicity they secured wasn't quite what they expected. As a climate activist, she was used to world leaders and media prostrating themselves before her. The idea that her presence in a war zone might not have been welcomed by Israel doesn't seem to have occurred to her. The resulting footage of the boat being boarded and Thunberg's subsequent time in Israel turned out to be comedy gold at her expense. "We've been kidnapped," she yelled. "This is a war crime," shouted another of the crew, as Israeli soldiers handed round sandwiches and blankets. It's just like, this is just a piece of shit who is like some, like, horrible, grotesque-looking man who lives in the fucking UK and is like, lol, she got arrested when she tried to stop Israel starving children. I love starving kids, but anyone who says anything about Israel hates the Jews. They just hate Jewish people. Oh, God, the UK, just everyone hates the poor Jewish victims. The Israelis who have not had much to laugh about since the Hamas massacre on October the 7th. Bro, they laugh at blowing up children and bulldozing them. Please, spare me your little bullshit crying fest. What does friend of the show, Piers Morgan? Friend of the show, Piers Morgan, probably has nothing positive to say. Then went overboard with describing the selfie yacht of celebrities. The tiny amount of aid that was not consumed by the celebrities will now be transferred. The foreign ministry, lol, the genocide foreign ministry are making jokes. The Israelis who have not, now Thunberg is back to break the illegal siege of Gaza to open a humanitarian corridor and end the ongoing genocide of the Palestinian people, according to the flotilla's organisers. On one level, this is about as tedious and as an important story as it gets. Itamar Ben-Gvir, the security minister, has reportedly said the activists should be detained in terrorist-level conditions. What, so you want to sexually abuse them? You want to sexually abuse them and torture them? The far-right minister shoots his mouth off with depressing regularity, but his verbal effusions are usually no more than that. At the very least, Greta and her allies will stunt will achieve its aim of garnering some publicity for those taking part, and that will be it, yawn. Bro, it's just like you are like a piece of shit. But there is more and a more interesting element to it. Thunberg is the exemplar of the so-called omnicores, much like the British protesters who have sought arrest by holding placards announcing their support for Palestine Action, the proscribed organisation. Their actions are driven not because they have any particular focus on Gaza or Palestine Action. It is because they are examples of the causes which today's modern activists must champion, along with climate emergency and the fight for trans rights. It is the same people demonstrating about the same things. Yeah, bro, because people who care about Palestine and people not being genocided don't want to see it happening to Palestinians. They want to see all human beings have rights, you know. If you drew a Venn diagram of Palestine, eco and trans activists, it would look like an eclipse of the sun, because they are one and the same thing. I mean, by the way, this is also a really fucking stupid take, because actually there are a lot of people who show solidarity across all of those things, which is unsurprising. People who are marginalized show solidarity with other marginalised people. Congratulations, you are a genius, Stephen Pollard. Enjoy being a smug piece of shit in the UK whilst the country that you advocate for and spend your life justifying genocides poor people. Because trans rights, you know, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about any of this. This is just a little slug man who lives in the UK and just does horrible shit, you know. Since he wasn't really clear on how material they would eventually be, they felt cited. Casey was complaining about too, but I've erased it. What are you talking about the Roma villagers? What are you talking about? I'm not actually sure what you're talking about. But yeah, like, also there are people within the Palestinian cause who don't like trans rights, so you would have like a different thing. They're not all the same people. There's a different thing. There's examples of this right now, like what's his name, the MP Adnan, I can't remember. It is because they're examples. The blending of Thunberg's eco-activism and her presence on the Gaza Flotilla is perfectly expressed in an earlier unreleased statement by JSO, Just Stop Oil. Palestinians are among the most vulnerable people on Earth to the effects of the climate collapse. Oh, I keep giving myself an electric shock. That's what's wrong. Sorry. I was wondering what was wrong with my arm. Please, Chris, no slug shaming. Sorry for being horrible to the slug boy. Palestinians are among the most vulnerable people on Earth to the effects of climate collapse, and in the daily struggle to survive in an apartheid state, they have no capacity to protect themselves against what is coming. Another group, Youth Demand, seeks to expose the UK government's complicity in genocide, the Palestinian genocide, and the global genocide from burning fossil fuels. Thunberg and her fellow wannabe Gaza tourists are cut from the same cloth, and for them it is the omni-cause which matters above all else. Their latest stunt will garner publicity, and then they and the rest of us will move. It's so funny because, like, bro, they didn't move on. They got arrested by fucking weirdo genocidal fascists who literally spend their time going, we love killing Palestinians. Here's our WhatsApp groups where we talk about killing Palestinians. And pieces of shit like you continually defend that bullshit of just killing people over and over again. And then anyone who's against you is just, oh, they're a woke lefty. Do you know what you are? You are a Nazi piece of shit. If we drew a Venn diagram between people now, if they were alive then, and if they were alive in the 1930s and 40s, and whether they liked Nazism or not, I think we would find a big correlation. Or people who support like fucking just fascist regimes everywhere. You would find a big crossover. The Global Summit called on European states to protect it from what organisers described, saying from Israel's terrorists should they continue. What, like, honestly, this guy is talking. Like, this Ben-Gvir statement is actually what I wanted to talk about. Israel's security minister has threatened to sexually abuse, torture, starve, deny basic rights that all prisoners should be given from people who dare to try and go and break the siege. And loads of these people are just like, yeah, they're actually awesome. This is like a great, awesome guy. Like, amazing guy. And like, you just have this idiot Trump tell Hamas to immediately give back all 20 hostages, not 2 or 5 or 7, and things will change rapidly. It will end. It's just like, shut up, bro. Like, shut up. What will end? You and your little pervert friends get to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Like, let's be frank here. What Greta Thunberg is standing in favour of is preventing, like I just saw Forensic Architecture talking about this. Israel is besieging Gaza City from 3 directions, pushing the nearly 1 million Palestinians currently sheltering there towards southern Gaza. Each military advance flattens homes and infrastructure in its path, threatening the erasure of a millennia-old city and displacing the people sheltering there. Most of the areas in southern Gaza, which the military have allocated for relocation, are within no-go zones or in areas unsuitable for habitation. Greta Thunberg is today standing against people trying to erase human beings. Like that's what she's standing against. The destruction of cities and culture. And you're there, sat as a piece of shit whose life is dedicated to defending the people who do that. I don't know. Guys, I've just removed the one part of the title because I think I'm done because I've been working for like, I don't know. I've been doing a long-ass day today. So, thank you all for coming. What day is tomorrow? Maybe there'll be a live tomorrow, but I am going to be on with Do Not Worry. So, I don't know whether I should, like, respect the fundraiser or what I should do there. I'm not actually sure what I should do. I actually don't know. God, and there's also some idiot. Greta is looking for good photo ops and selfies. Yeah, is that so, Stephen Edwards? Yeah. Not the fact that there's people who starve other human beings and destroy their history and culture and openly admit that they fucking love doing it. That's what people are against, and you can just get out of the YouTube, because I don't need people like you on YouTube. Like, ever. I block all the Nazis on goddamn this, but like on here, the community's smaller, so I will block an individual like you. But yeah, have a great rest of the day. Love doing it. That's what people are against. And you can just get out of the YouTube, because I don't need people like you on YouTube. Like, ever. I block all the Nazis on goddamn this, but like on here, the community's smaller, so I will block an individual like you. But yeah, have a great rest of the day.